Replacing motorcycle fenders. Depending on what type of motorcycle that you have, there's several different options and ways to go about doing so. On this particular bike, on your rear fender, if you were to change it, basically what you would have to do is you'd have to remove your rear seat, and you would have a few fasteners underneath here to simply remove it. Your options being that you have what they call fender eliminator kits, certain undertail sections, or the original equipment replacement fender that you could use, that you could buy from your dealer. All depends on what your goal is, what you're trying to do. In the sport bike market, a lot of people tend to eliminate this rear fender and go for an aftermarket style, which they actually call a fender eliminator, which would be, again, simply removing your seat, removing the few fasteners to take off your rear fender, checking for any connections that you would have if there's a taillight involved, and then of course following the instructions for the aftermarket product to install the rear fender. If you have a cruiser style or you want to change a front fender on your motorcycle, you do have a few steps that you would have to take. One, you'd have to get the front wheel up in the air and elevated, and you'd have to remove the front wheel to access the fasteners to get to this front fender, which are usually up underneath the front forks or below the lower triple clamp. So keep in mind to remove your front fender, and on some rear fenders you do have to remove your wheel, and you're going to want to have to follow your service manual to get the proper torque specs when reinstalling your wheel to make sure it's done correctly. And again, it all depends on what type of bike that you have, and you'll have several options for fender replacements.